Hey, we're back to discuss Avengers Age of Ultron. If you watched our review video, we gave it fairly high marks. It reviewed fairly well. We all enjoyed it. This is the part where we get to actually talk about things that happened in the movie that, giving away plot spoilers and things that happened. I thought that the setup, the idea of them creating Ultron was done really well. I was thinking about it as I was in the movie about, do I like the way this is done? Could it have been done better? Honestly, I think they did a really good job of setting everything up with that initial, cold open action sequence leading into Tony and Bruce creating Ultron. That happened at a really nice, rapid pace, but not in a, where is this coming from? It wasn't rushed. So it felt like they struck a nice balance between Ultron's just there at the beginning and taking half the movie to get Ultron out. So I thought they got him out in a really good... The pacing and the timing of that was really well done. I also like that they didn't, the whole, moral, should we or shouldn't we have done this. They explored that, but that wasn't the whole movie. That wasn't what the whole thing was about, which was another thing I was kind of worried about going into it. And then the new characters, I felt like they timed those moments really well. They timed those moments really perfectly, where we get Ultron in the very beginning, then we get kind of introduced to the twins. We kind of spend some time with them on the other side, spend some time with them on our side. And then finally we're introduced to the Spirit, which all of those things were given, all of those characters are given so much context within the movie that you don't feel like you don't come out of the movie, or you're not anywhere in the movie going, I don't know who that is because I didn't read the comics. Everything's explained very well. It's quick, it's fast, and there's a lot of characters, but it makes sense. It all works together. And
that's a good point. Yeah,
I think that's where Joss Whedon really shines, is having a huge ensemble cast to manage and still making you feel like you, at least within the context of this one film, you know where everybody is, you know what they're doing.
As somebody who hasn't followed the comic books, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on that I didn't know everybody's backstory, I didn't know how everybody came about, but I still was able to enjoy the movie and come away with, I like this character, this is a good character.
There's still a sense of context of what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree.
I was glad that they brought Vision in. I think Vision is a pretty cool addition.
Well, and you were critical of the number of moving pieces, so unpack that for me, because I'm curious to know what you thought about that.
There were a bunch of characters, which was handled really well, but they spent, it seemed to me, a lot of time building up for Thor's next movie, based on how much followed his vision versus everybody else's. They spent so much time, I think, building up for the future movies that they didn't focus.
How much do you know about the future movies? Do you know what Thor's next movie is going to be about?
Thor Ragnarok? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Because I don't know any of that, and I didn't get any of that from this.
I felt that, because I know the comics, I felt that they spent too much time building up for the next movie instead of focusing on this one.
Yeah, I felt like Thor was equally, if not less, represented than all the other characters.
He really wasn't there much.
They kind of drop him out, and then he shows up and creates Spirit, and then he's just sort of there with the rest of them again. But I get what you're saying, because if you know how things are supposed to proceed, if you know what that next storyline's going to be, and with the Hulk as well, they're setting up the Hulk's next movie too.
Yeah, what did happen to the Hulk?
Exactly. That's what the next movie's going to tell you. That's how that's going to be answered. And we mentioned
it's exciting to think what's coming next, but I must admit I do get like a little annoyed with the episodic nature of films these days, like because they're so big and they're so continual. There's such a big universe of what could happen. Maybe you're right. It does take away a little bit from the current.
Well, that kind of makes a comic book fan feel at home, because if you've ever read any type of comic story, you have to collect about 7 different comics to get one storyline.
So yeah, maybe it's that ties in.
But yeah, all in all, I thought the movie was done well. I really enjoyed it.
It's a good time.
James Spader just dominated every scene he was in.
Yeah, Ultron was a little more comical than I thought. He was going to be like this menacing Terminator type thing. I don't know the comics, just going by the trailers and stuff. But like, it really is entertaining to watch Ultron's performance.
I really didn't expect him to be as comical as he was. I feel it should have, because it is Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was expecting him to be very menacing.
Mm-hmm.
I felt, if anything, they gave a little bit of favoritism in screen time to Hawkeye and Black Widow, mostly because those aren't marquee characters. They're not going to have their own movies, so they get a little bit more face time in Avengers.
I feel like he had a lot of face time in it, and I mean, it was great to know his family and kind of get a little bit of his story. But I think I wanted more of the Tony Stark and to know a little bit more. But I understand that since they don't have.
But you have 3 movies of Tony Stark, right?
I know, but I think the part that I like about Tony Stark, I like the sarcastic.
There was a little bit less of that in this one.
Yeah, there's a lot less.
Right.
There was a little bit of tongue in cheek in the beginning when they were telling their story at the party, but it kind of went.
Joss Whedon had such a big job ahead of him. I mean, he had to tell this story, but also set up for Civil War, set up for the Infinity Gauntlet, and weave all of that together into this one thing. And whatever they're going to do with the Hulk, I don't know if they're building towards World War Hulk or what.
Yeah, they are. And what you were saying about Tony Stark, that's exactly what I mean when I say that it's not as fun as the first one, because you don't have, like, Tony Stark's the funniest one in the first one, and you don't have that sort of dominant comedy character there. It's more spread out. Ultron has funny lines. Hawkeye, I think, has more funny lines than anybody in the movie.
Oh my god, when he said that thing about him having the bow and arrow and it not making any sense.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought that was hilarious.
There were tons of them. There were lots of, like, him just talking to himself that was really funny.
But I guess I wasn't expecting.
But what my point is that it's if you give more of this movie over to Tony Stark, you get the immediate satisfaction from people of, this character's here and he's funny again, versus his part in this plot is he oversteps, and he's arrogant and he oversteps, and him wisecracking through that, even though he did anyway, it doesn't have the same tone, doesn't have the same thing that was going on before. Whereas, since we're not going to get a Hawkeye movie, this is as close as we're going to get. Mm-hmm. So they gave a lot of pieces to him, and I thought Jeremy Renner did great in it. There's people that are going to be upset with the whole Black Widow Hulk thing. I think that made sense. They set it up pretty quickly with the whole, he can't have kids, she can't have kids thing. But I think it also sets up. It was also a way to give those two characters a connection beyond everyone else's connection with the Bruce Banner / Hulk character.
It's more one of those things, was it necessary? Did you really need that subplot?
Well, like, none of the subplots are necessary, but everybody needs something.
It was nice.
Everybody needs something, and I think it was nice. I don't think it was overwrought. I don't think it was melodramatic.
Fair enough.
She's not weeping in the corner when he's gone. It's
staring at the wall.
It's true to all of the characters. It's true to all of the characters.
Yeah.
The way that it works out. And, it's not really Like it's not consummated. Like they just sort of had this moment, really.
Going back to the new characters, I was shocked that they killed Quicksilver. I was kind of blown away by that.
But at the same time, I mean, can 9, 10, 20 Avengers survive every movie?
True.
I did think they were introducing 3 new characters so that they could kill one of the other Avengers, but
Scarlet Witch.
that'll probably happen in the
third one.
in either. The third one's going to be split into 2 parts, so
There was another.
it'll happen in one of them.
There was another movie we were reviewing lately, and I forget who said it. It might have been you. Something about like sometimes the stakes are not like all the consequence-free action when you know hardly anyone's
Yes.
going to die.
Furious 7.
Was it? It might have been that. Yeah.
Because nobody
Except
died.
the obvious one.
Yeah.
And
I say that a lot.
like I did get a feeling of that in this movie, where like the action is so intense, but it's like you know they're not going to die. Nobody's gonna.
That's a huge problem with action movies,
Yeah.
especially recently. And yeah, I would say that if everyone got out of this movie unscathed, it hurts the movie.
They were building up towards. I figured somebody was going to die because one is Joss Whedon, but I felt that they were building up towards Hawkeye dying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything pointed to that, and then he didn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming. I thought that was really good.
Well, it's close though, because it's like he was going to die, but the other guy saved him, and the kid.
And
Yeah.
Almost like it was, they showed us the family stuff. He was the one where we would have the emotional stakes for him, hopefully not dying, and then the other guy saves him. So it's almost like he took the bullet for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think they introduced Vision just so they could get Paul Bettany actually in the movie.
Right, because he's the voice for Jarvis, right?
But I'm eager to see where they go from here. I mean, I know what the upcoming movies are, but how are they going to do the Civil War?
Yeah, and I'm like, after seeing the first Avengers movie, I was kind of disappointed that I would have to sit through a bunch of other Marvel movies before we would get to another Avengers, because I like the first Avengers so much. This one, and especially because of how good all of those other Marvel movies were, I still think The Winter Soldier might be my favorite of all of the Marvel
here.
movies.
Love that movie.
And that was a shock to me. Like, I did not expect that. I'm very happy that we get to dive into some more Thor. We get to see some more Captain America. We get to see some more
Got
just
Ant-Man
more stuff
coming down the pipe.
Yeah, I don't know how much Ant-Man factors into everything, but
Guardians 2 is going to be the big one.
is that before or after Avengers though?
I think it's before.
Okay.
And we've also got a Doctor Strange movie coming up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean it's all good. I came out of this movie feeling satisfied. I'm also glad that they didn't do like another end credit tease. Not just because I didn't want to sit there and wait for it, but also because like I didn't want there to be like some
Cliffhanger. For
some
years.
yeah, exactly, some cliffhanger thing that they're not going to address again for a long time, or
You forget.
yeah. And I mean, Thanos has appeared. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy briefly. He appeared at the end of the first Avengers. He was the like end credit thing, and they had him in like the mid credit thing here, where it's like setting up, and it's like, yeah, for like 3 years now, we're waiting for the Thanos thing, and that's going to be what Avengers 3 is going to be about. Like the two Avengers parts 3 are going to be about. So, but no, I'm happy to watch these movies now, and they're all good quality. They all fit together, and this was an entertaining 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like that's not easy to pull off.
it didn't feel that way.
It didn't feel that way at all.
They killed off Aaron Taylor Johnson, and before I could ask him what it was like to go from being husband and wife to being brother and sister
Yeah.
between Godzilla and the Avengers. because he was
no.
married to Elizabeth Olsen in Godzilla.
That wasn't weird at all.
Not at all.
Uh-huh.
Not like, yeah, there's other movies that are fun like that. But that's not why you're watching. Thanks for watching our discussion of Avengers Age of Ultron. If you like the way we do these, like the video, please. Share it with your friends. Like us, and check out the written video reviews at dalemaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.